Hello, today I'm going to review the Black Series Hunter figure from the Bad Batch, and this is his Mercenary gear or something like that. I didn't get the Hunter figure from the first phase, as I don't even have a full set of the complete Bad Batch, and I got them from 2 different seasons, so I guess they're kind of mismatched right now, but I kind of like his armor in this season better anyway. But that's besides the point. I'll start on the articulation on this figure. Starting out on the head, you can see that you can bend his head side to side, and there is a head underneath there that you most likely won't get to see in this video because I have the hardest time getting their helmets off. But, yeah, I'm not going to attempt to, except this once just to see. I'll go ahead and see if I can get it off. I'm getting somewhere with it. Hang on. It's probably the last time this helmet will ever come off of him. There we go. I'm going to show this one time before I get into the articulation thing, just because I did get the helmet off. He has printing on that one side of his face like he does in the show. I don't know if it's just me. I guess it's because the art style, the Bad Batch looks so different than real life. So seeing it like a realistic version of Hunter kind of just looks odd to me. But I guess that's just because it's meant to be a more realistic looking figure. But you can see on the side he has the little headband with the skull on it like he always has in the show, with the little bit of sideburns coming down on the side. And he has half of his face that gray color like he always did. And around the back you can just see where that thing comes to a tie right here, and where the hair kind of flows down a little bit more. And inside of the helmet, hang on, it's just like that. So I'm going to stick that back on now, and it's never coming back off again. So this is like the scene with Vader putting his helmet on. Oh boy, I don't want to get it on there sideways, or else I'll never get him to turn right again. I'm going to do this off. Now that he's got his helmet back on, we'll get back into the articulation. There's head articulation. There's articulation in the shoulders. These things kind of limited a little bit, but they are rubbery, so not too much. He has articulation in his, I'm going to do this with the other elbow actually. Articulation in his elbows, like that. And articulation in his wrists, like that. And there's also articulation in his hips that kind of move around. Not necessarily his hips actually right now, it's more his chest. It's kind of on a ball joint, so you can get him to bend down like that quite a lot, so that's kind of cool. And then there's articulation. That is the phone ringing. Anyway, there's articulation in the top of his legs and in his knees, like that. Hang on, there we go. And I think that loosened up that joint a little bit. I wish I didn't do that. There's articulation in his feet as well, like that. And that is all his articulation. In terms of detail, we already looked at the face underneath, but the helmet on top has the kind of gray and orange printing to it with some little scratches and stuff to make it look more worn down. And around the front, you can see he has all the little details in the front of his helmet, on the bottom and all that. And kind of like some grime and stuff built up on it. It looks really cool. Let me get it to be a little bit less shaky so you can see. He even has, is that printing or is that, I'm pretty sure that's printing right there. Just some really realistic looking printing on the helmet. And I do like how that looks. And there's more orange going around the back. And you can actually see his hair leaking through back there. Leaking through, not really leaking through, showing through. And I think you could actually bend the helmet back a little bit if you didn't want that. But there's also his scarf or whatever. That's really loose on here, so you can just spin that around if you want. I think it's meant to go on more like this though. And around the arms, you can see he has like the blue and white on his gear. That's kind of the pop of color on here, because I'm pretty sure it's the only time blue is used on this figure. So that is kind of cool looking, I think. I know a lot of people don't like their armor being more colorful, but I like it better that way. That kind of makes them not all look the same. But you can also see that he has, with the camera focus, fabric printing up here around his elbow, and a bunch of like bandages or whatever going around his wrists And then he has like these blue gloves with some white wrist pieces. And then on this hand over here, it's all different because he has all that, but he also has like a knife holder, which you can actually pull out his knife on. Hang on. Yeah, I just pulled out a knife. And it has printing and stuff too, like little yellow details, and just little details to the handle and all that. I'm gonna set that aside right now. And around the side of him, you can see his armor has all those little grime details as well with the little orange stripe. And I'm just gonna straighten him out a little bit. There we go. You can also see he has like the leather going around him with all these pieces. They kind of limit his articulation in his legs just a little bit. He also has a gun holster. And around the back, you can see he has even more leathery pieces running down him like that. They're printed very well and sculpted very well. And you can see he has these knee pads. And he also has two different kinds of legs on the bottom, because he has this one on the right and this one on the left with the orange stripe and all that. And then he has the little shoes on the bottom. And that is all the details in this figure. So now I'm going to try to get him into a pose. Well, now I got him in a pose where he's holding both of his guns up in the air, and I think this looks pretty cool. Now, as I was bending around his joints, I will say his leg joints are kind of hard to, they're not hard to bend, it's just all the bandages and stuff around him with the leather pieces and all that kind of limit that a lot, and I feel like I'm going to break the figure when I'm moving the legs around, so I had to be pretty careful with those. But overall, the articulation was pretty good on this figure. But anyway, I do think this is a good figure, and I don't have the original Hunter to compare it to, but I think he fits in with the other Bad Batch members, even if you had like the Season 1 characters or the Season 2, which I have a mix of both because I'm not going to go and collect the Bad Batch 2 different times. But anyway, I do think this is a good figure, as I said, and he's definitely worth getting. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.